We're going to call the call the regular council meeting of Monday, December 16th to order. Welcome, everyone. We'll begin with the acknowledgement of treaties of peace and friendship. We would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. This territory is owned by the treaties, covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Wolastoqiyik, Mi'kmaq, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Thank you. Walalan. Next is the oath of office. We do hereby accept the office of council and will diligently, faithfully, and impartially discharge to the best of our ability the duties of the office as may be imposed upon us by law. Next is the moment of reflection. I'll ask Deputy Mayor Guitar McDonnell to lead us, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Could we have a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Next is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any changes that we wish?
If I may, Your Worship, item 6.5.3, concerning discussion regarding amalgamation, I would like to ask if Councillor Robinson would have enough respect for council that, to put that on the agenda in January. Last meeting, I recognized that we had put it on the agenda for tonight because we all assumed that there was an election last Monday, and we would have a full council here tonight. However, due to the fact that the election was won by less than 25 votes, and any candidate can submit for a recount up to 10 days after the election, we are not swearing in that candidate until all of those policies have been respected. Therefore, our next meeting in January 13th, we will have a full council. So I'm asking if Councillor Robinson would consider putting that on the agenda for January instead of tonight.
I have no problem doing that, and I would have done it had you asked me specifically before the meeting.
Okay, well, then we have a change. We have an amendment to the agenda. Any other changes? If not, can we get a motion to adopt the amended agenda?
M 2024-12-16-128, that the agenda be amended with changes.
A seconder?
So move.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. So we'll move forward. Statements of conflict of interest. Any council member needs to acknowledge a conflict of interest, which I have. Please do so with the clerk. Next is the adoption of minutes. This motion is to adopt the minutes of the special council meeting of the 13th of November and the regular council meeting of the 18th of November. Can I get a mover?
M 2024-12-16-129, the minutes of the special council meeting of November 13th, 2024, and the regular meeting of November 18th, 2024, be adopted as presented.
Need a seconder?
So move.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. We don't have any presentations, petitions, or delegations this evening, so we'll move on to the statements by members of council. Councillor Burke.
My motion here is to ask council to take over mounting and dismounting the veterans banners that were mounted by me personally here this year. I'm extremely proud to say that we had 60 banners mounted of veterans who have served our community and surrounding area. It went extremely well. I'm also very proud to say that the Legion has received a $5,000 grant from the Cooperative Partnership Program to have another 30 banners of our KIAs, and KIA is Killed in Action. We have 29 pictures of veterans who were killed in World War I, World War II, and the Korean War. There are more than those, but those are the ones we have pictures of. So the funding has been approved to have banners for those KIAs, and I will have that program done sometime prior to, let's say, August of next year. With that said, that'll bring our banner program to pushing 100, and 100 will be a very, very difficult program for me to handle personally and alone. I have left all the brackets on the poles, so mounting the previous 60 will not be a very difficult chore. Mounting the ones after that, well, that'll be something, but I know the village has the personnel, the bodies, and the ability to be able to mount those a whole lot faster than I can. But with that said, it comes down to that in all of the municipalities, and I've spoken with Chatham, Newcastle, and Blackville, those three communities, the village or the town or the city, whichever way you want to phrase it, is responsible and looks after the program personally of mounting and dismounting the banners. I want to make it perfectly clear that I am going to maintain the administration of that program so that there's no funding or anything that the Village of Beldoon would need to do. It's strictly to mount them somewhere around the 1st of October and dismount them, say, within a week after Remembrance Day. So during, it's that 6-week period that I'm looking for. So with that said, I certainly would like to have a motion that the Village of Beldoon assume that responsibility of mounting and dismounting the banners in the future.
Anyone?
I'm all in support of that. This program is a wonderful benefit to our community, definitely. So having the Public Works program help installing them and taking them down, I do not have an issue with at all.
Anyone else?
Hi, may I speak?
Yes?
Yes, I have no issue with this either. I feel it's a beautiful addition to our community. It's it honors our veterans, so I have no issue with that either.
Okay. Anyone else? We would need, and I echo those thoughts, by the way. It's really, really nice to be able to, to drive down the streets and to see all the banners, and it's just really nice. We would need a motion then. Could someone perhaps give us one?
Would I be free to make that motion?
I don't see why not.
I would move that the Village of Beldoon be responsible for the mounting and dismounting of the banners in our community.
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay. Motion passed.
If I may, just want to thank council for supporting that program. For me personally, it was a pleasure and an honor to be able to do that. I dealt with every family face to face, and it was a highly emotional, self-satisfactory type of program, and I couldn't be more proud and happier to see that you know, the positive remarks I've received in the community from it. So thank you very much on behalf of our Legion for supporting the program.
Okay. Next, Councillor Robinson.
Okay, my first item is regarding the Culligan boat slip. I received a couple of phone calls about the boat slip, and people have been requesting improvements to that infrastructure for a number of years. There is, I wouldn't call it a petition, there's a letter asking of support, looking for action taken on that item, and I know it's come to council a number of times. If the Culligan boat slip isn't, I guess, an ideal spot, then perhaps we can be looking at another location or something, but I think it's an important piece of infrastructure for tourism and for the local recreational boaters. So I'm just putting it on councilors' radar that that's something that people are asking about. Again, there's damage being done to people's boats, trailers, whatever. It's an issue at low tide or whatever. So just I wanted to bring it to council's attention at this point, and I think there's probably another letter coming in for January or whatever. So that was, I just want people to be aware of it, that it's come up again. So my next item, sorry, go ahead.
Just maybe a couple of points that the boat slip consists of, I believe, of some cement slabs that are laid by a contractor who has basically a water permit to be able to put them into the bay. With that said, are these slabs in adequate condition to be able to be placed? And do we still have a contractor who is licensed to be able to do that type of work?
So yes, we do. There is a certain, I believe there's a specific type of insurance that they need to have to be able to do it, but I can double check that. The slabs are, there's some that, really the crux of the issue that we've heard from the residents is that really there's not enough. So we've recently got the design work. So if we wanted to have more slabs created, yes, we do have the design for that. We do have a contractor. The contractor is, I believe the contract expires in 2025. So they'll, or in at the end of this season, it'll go in and then it'll go back out to tender. But yes, we do have that in place right now. The condition of them, there's probably a few that could be touched up because they do need to be a lot of the times welded each year to align. So, but we do have the design work on that, and we can certainly, if we're looking to have more slabs ordered in, it's not a problem.
Lennon, is there a way to extend the length of that lift?
There is, by getting more slabs. So one of the things that we had looked at previously was potentially putting in a permanent concrete apron at the top. One of the problems that the contractors had is, sometimes it's in a little bit too deep. As you said, at low tide, it doesn't extend far enough, right? So when it's your lowest tide, you've got about a foot drop, and people can't, either bring their boats out of the water at low tide or put them in. So a couple more slabs could be added onto it. What we were investigating was having a permanent concrete apron put at the top that stays there. Then the contractor always knows it's always going to go into the same spot. They just butt the slabs up against that. So that was one of the things that we're looking at. Certainly not as a permanent fix as a permanent wharf, right? One of the issues that we have experienced there was the undermining of the slip. So the contractor does need to go back there quite a bit. The currents and everything that come in sometimes wash out of the bottom of that. And I do know that when this had come up years ago, I'd found, and I think I moved that along to council, there was a proposed study that could have been done in the area. It was quite expensive at the time. I want to say it was around $20,000, the proposal for the study, and this was in maybe 2008, to look at what could be done there, what the proper wharf design would look like. So yeah, I think that.
Okay. I don't think my question was, can you make it longer by adding new slabs? It was more about, is it feasible to make it longer at that location, or should we be looking at?
No, you can make it longer at that location. Yeah, you can make it longer at that location. It's just a matter of adding on to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, my next item is the policy and procedure bylaws that were supposed to be written by Gagnon Strategics that we still don't have. This has been a long process and way long overdue. This started in July of 2023. We still don't have an updated procedural bylaw. There was a number of other ones that he was supposed to be working on. And I think kind of a strategic plan gotten thrown into the mix with that company. I don't know why. Can we get moving on this so that we can get some of the issues with the procedural bylaw and other ones addressed? Like, can we establish a working committee to move this forward, or some way to have steady progress? Because I know we had a progress report, but there wasn't a whole lot of progress reported. He had 2 updates to one policy as an example of what the final report would look like, but from July till now, we've seen nothing. We met with him in March of 2024, and it's time.
So just on that real quickly, I like the idea of putting a committee in place. That ultimately, it is going to be council that drives that, you know, so if there is a little bit of council involvement from the onset and moving it forward, I think that's a great idea, and I can certainly broach that with Eve. I think that he'd be open to it. From our perspective, we actually have meetings arranged for this week, and we are allocating some of the admin staff to it. So rather than have it sort of float around and be a little bit wishy-washy, we're going to designate one of our resources that we've got back now. So I do expect progress on that, but I will certainly reach out to Eve and see if we can set up some sort of a committee, because I do think something a little bit more structured like that would help move it forward.
Council? I'd like to add something. We met in March of 2024. Personally, I'd like to see Mr. Gagnon come in and speak to council personally to answer some questions, because this, I mean, Mr. Gagnon also did, I believe, the strategic plan and worked on some of these measures with the Service Commission. And it's been, I believe it's been working on it. It's completed. It's you know, and that was done in a timely fashion. This, to me, is, I don't know. I don't understand why this is just dragging on and on and on. He should be here in front of council, answering some questions, and giving us a timeline for this, because this impedes the progress of council. Your bylaws run almost everything that you do, and we've needed this overhaul for a long time. And to have the job of doing it and not to be finished by this time, to me, is not acceptable. And that message should be, and he should be, I would like council to give a directive to CO Lee to ask Mr. Gagnon to come before council.
If I may, Your Worship, I don't have an issue with that at all. I personally would like to even make a motion that CAO Lee contact Mr. Gagnon and set up a date that he can come here and meet with council at the earliest possible time in the new year, preferably in January.
Okay. Do you want to go through the motion? Do you want to do that?
Just that I make a motion that Mr. Gagnon appear before council at the earliest possible convenience, hopefully in January.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
On the motion, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay. Next.
Okay, my next item is regarding the strategic plan. We had a presentation last month regarding the strategic plan of 2008, which I would like to correct to the public was 40 pages long. There was some work done in, I believe, by the last council, 2017, 2019. I haven't found an actual report, just kind of updates on progress reports or whatever done by Pivotal Input. And we've had Jack Novak in a number of times to do some strategic planning type exercises or whatever, but they all amount to the same thing of vision statements, mission statements, that sort of thing. So I'm really hoping that we can look into a robust company who specializes in municipal strategic planning. I know we've had presentations from UMNB. There was one by Doug Griffiths that was really well done or whatever. So I think it's way past our time to start looking at that and getting those types of things in place, even though we have limited time left. But it's a strategic investment, no pun intended, and it's long, long overdue. We kind of spin our wheels we've had Jack Novak, we've had Don Metz or whatever his last name was. We've had Yves Gagnon do some of that type of stuff, but we're getting absolutely nowhere, and it's the same conversations over and over again. So I think looking at a more specialized company dealing with municipal strategic plans is something that we should consider quickly in January.
Council?
May I speak?
Sure.
Yeah, I agree with Cynthia that we're long due for this strategic plan. It should be done in the earliest of the new year and getting it organized. We're lacking that for sure. Thank you.
If I may, Your Worship. Again, I'm going to take it one step further. I'm going to say that I am going to put a motion right on the table that our CAO Lee contact the appropriate people for a plan on how we can meet or what they're going to charge, and that this strategic plan company, whoever is chosen to do it, get to work sooner than later. So I'd like to make a motion that we get some quotes and get them into council by the next meeting in January.
I agree. Can I get a seconder?
I'll second.
Second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. And I kind of like where this is going. I like a more aggressive approach. I think we need to take a more aggressive approach on these things, and maybe now's the time. Also, I just want to speak to something too, because last month I did misspeak. Paul gave a presentation, and he and I were talking about two different strategic plans. He was talking about the 2008. I was talking about I believe 2011, which was a lot longer. So I apologize, Paul, if I got that incorrect. So, okay.
Okay, my last item is actually two combined there, relatively the same though. There are two programs I think that Baldoon really could benefit from, and I would hope we could get a presentation in by Brenda Lee regarding age-friendly community initiatives. There's funding available, and it's they're important programs socially and sort of mentally, I guess, senior type programs or whatever. It's and there is funding available for it. So if we could arrange for presentations on that, and the other one is through Vitalite, Nursing Homes Without Walls. There were 4 pilot programs in New Brunswick where nursing homes are partnered with seniors in their residence. There's programming done through those seniors' homes and in-home visits or whatever. So if we could get presentations through those 2 organizations, just so council is aware of what is available. Like, we really don't tap into a lot of the initiatives and the programs that are available to citizens in our community. So some of them are community-led. So if we can get a presentation and then look at how we can implement those in Baldoon through volunteer committees or whatever.
All right. If no one on council has anything else to add there, we'll move on to administration reports. And maybe since that 130 deals with December 2024 as a whole, and the next one is in December, and it's the one that I would have a conflict of interest in, maybe I'll leave for both and ask Deputy Mayor Guitar McDonnell to take over for those two. I think she wanted to know if she needed to leave the seat and come here, if she can do it from her seat. Come on over.
So.
Thanks.
Okay, so we've got two motions for the social environmental grant report. So item 130 and item 131. We would need a mover for item 130.
May I read?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. M 2024-12-16-130, that the social environmental report for December 2024 be accepted as presented and recommendations approved.
I will second that motion.
Sorry, there was one item missing there, Lillian. So it's $250 for the Spirit of Christmas project.
Okay, thank you.
I'll
I didn't
still
have on
second it.
my Agenda.
Of the question? Everyone in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passed. Could I get a mover for 131, please?
I'll move it. M 2024-12-16-131, that council approve a social environment grant to the Beldoon Gentlemen Hockey Tournament for the ice time at a subsidized rate of $55 per game, reimbursement of up to $500 for tournament programs upon a proof of purchase and receipt, and $250 towards a tournament insurance.
I will second that motion.
On the motion?
No, I just have a question on this one again, as I do every year. Just to be clear, this is a private, for-profit event. The money raised is not given to charity. It is not raised on behalf of families in need or anything of that nature. Am I correct, Landon?
I don't believe so. I really don't know. I'd have to talk to the event organizer. I really don't know where the profits go.
Okay, but it's not billed as a charity event.
No, I don't believe so. No.
Okay.
Anyone else? Anyone on the question? All those in favor? All those opposed?
Nay.
All right. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Next up, we have Clerk Treasurer Culligan with the financial reports.
Thank you. So recap for November of 2024, and we'll start with the general operating fund. Bank balance carried forward from October was $1,079,583.36. We had total deposits of $428,555.85, as well as interest revenue of $4,631.64. We issued checks, which include payroll as well, of $477,316.79. Other payments throughout the month of $60,346.35. We had checks outstanding in October of 2024 of $46,468.04. And the outstanding checks at the end of November were $31,587.62. This leaves us with an account balance at November 30th of $960,227.29. Capital Reserve account balance at November 30th, 2024 was $2,960,275.13. The capital operating reserve account balance at November 30th was $227,474.04. And the gas tax fund balance at November 30th was $766,643.51. Accounts payable as of November 30th, 2024 was $186,634.36, and accounts receivable was $34,370.01. In the utility operating fund, we had a balance carry forward of $913.25. We had total deposits of $22,730.37. Checks issued, as well as other bill payments, $5,739.83. Outstanding checks at the end of October were $92, and at the end of November, there were no outstanding checks. This left us with a balance at November 30th of $17,872.02. The capital reserve account balance for November 30th, 2024 was $92,681.82. The operating reserve account balance was $4,017.01, and the trust account balance at November 30th was $32,399.40. Accounts payable for the utility fund were $4,289.69, and the accounts receivable, we had residential of $2,250 and industrial of $1,638.34.
Thank you. Can we get a motion for -132?
M 2024-12-16-132, that the financial report be accepted as presented and the accounts payable be paid.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. We move on to motions and resolutions. -133, what deals with the general operating and utility operating fund budget.
M 2024-12-16-133, that the Council of the Local Government of Baldoon resolves that the sum of $5,075,959 be the total of the 2025 General Operating Fund budget of the local government, that the sum of $4,446,403 be the warrant of the local government for the ensuing year, and that the tax rates for the local government be $1.2325 central and $1.10150 for fringe.
Get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. -134.
M 24-12-16-134, that the Council of the Local Government of Baldoon resolves that pursuant to paragraph 117 bracket 4 of the Local Governance Act, the total 2025 water, wastewater, utility operating fund budget for the ensuing year would consist of total revenues of $71,921 and total expenditures of $71,921.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Oh, okay. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Next, 9.3, Smear Road West, -135.
M 2024-12-16-135, whereas council is working to resolve improvements to Smear Road West and towards an agreement for the gravel portion of the roadway, whereas council has heard from the public regarding trucking along Smear Road West and generally along the main street through two petitions presented on June 14, 2024 and June 24, 2024. Be it resolved that council wishes to hold a public meeting in early 2025 to resolve the agreement developed for the gravel portion of the Smear Road West and hear from various experts regarding trucking along roadways in Beldoon. Be it therefore resolved that the public meeting will allow council to adjust, if necessary, the agreement regarding the Smear Road West and consider actions it may take in dealing with trucking generally. Be it further resolved that any work along Smear Road does not begin before council holds the public meeting and staff are able to advise on the additional Wawa concerns.
Okay, before I get a seconder, I have to just make one. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but it's important because it's on the record in public. But in the third paragraph, Councillor Burke said in the second sentence, resolved as opposed to review. I don't know if anyone picked that up, but it's important. Anyway, it doesn't change the motion. It just a rewording of it. And I believe I'm right in that. If I'm incorrect, then I apologize, but better to be right on that. So with the motion that has been read and is on the table, can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question,
I just have one concern with the wording in the first paragraph. I believe is problematic where it states, whereas council is working to provide improvements to Smear Road West and towards an agreement for the gravel portion of the roadway. There is an agreement for the gravel portion of the roadway. So I don't know if there is a problem with the wording there. I would question it, just because there is an agreement and that statement is misleading.
Sorry, I don't think that it's referencing the legal agreement. I think that it's referencing the agreement that council is going to be working towards with the contractor, the eventual agreement.
But there is an agreement with the contractor, is what I'm saying. So you can't work towards something if it already exists. It's semantics maybe, but I have an issue because things come back to bite you in the ass, right?
well, we have a motion on the floor. I can't even remember. Did we get a seconder for that? Okay. So we get a seconder, that would, it's on the floor, that would take an amendment. So if we don't have an agreement by the majority of council in terms of an amendment, then this is the motion that's on the floor.
May I speak? I believe that Cynthia does have a point. It may not be clear. We want to make sure that it is clear. I don't know if we can remove that first paragraph. I just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
If I may, Your Worship? You know, correct me if I'm wrong, council did not write this motion. This was given to us by our legal people to present for exactly this purpose tonight. So I know I'm not going to question the wording. For me personally, I believe he's accountable and responsible to this council to make sure that the motions and resolutions that he presents for us to present to the public and pass as a motion are correct, and I believe it is.
Okay, I'm actually in agreement with that sentiment simply because by changing it, we may be placing ourselves more in more liability than by leaving it. This is the motion that I assume, and I guess Councilor Burke, you assume too, is written by our legal. So if that's the case, if council wants to change that, that's on them. But I'll leave it at that. Legal. Pardon me?
If it came from legal, okay, I understand that. But I can go with this motion if it came from legal.
See, Lee, did it come from
We
legal?
have questioned the wording on resolutions and motions from legal a number of times. I don't think this is any exception.
And just for clarity, yes, it did come from legal.
Council, it's your motion. If we don't have a motion to amend or a motion to table, which we don't, then we need to vote on this. We have a motion on the floor. Going once, going twice, 3 times. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Okay.
Next is dash 136, and that's on the 2025 meeting schedule. There is a correction that the Committee of Whole Council meeting be rescheduled from Monday, January 6th, 2025 to Monday, January 13th, 2025. So that is the proper motion.
M 24, 12, 16, 136, that the Committee of the Whole meeting, council meeting be rescheduled from Monday, January 6, 2025 to Monday, January 13th, 2025.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. I apologize, Councilor Carmichael. Motion passed. General correspondence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For actionable items in, we had the memo on the late submission of the 2025 budget. For information in, we had the SBCA report for November 2024, the Chaleur Regional Service Commission building report for November 2024, and the Universal Rail Systems track inspection report for November 2024. Correspondence out, we had the support for the Chaleur Bay Watershed Group letter.
Okay, I don't believe we have a motion for that, do we? No, okay. So we have meeting, or the motion to adjourn, dash 137. Can I get a mover?
M 2024-12-16-137, that the meeting adjourn at 7:44.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed, meeting adjourned.